This week, we are live at Fountain City Con in New Century, Kansas. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger!
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. Alright, you guys. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
I'm Taylor Oxer.
And we're sitting here today on day 2 of Fountain City Con. Today we're going to do just one of our typical episodes. First, before we get going, today's episode is sponsored by the good folks at the Comic Coffee House. They're out there giving anyone that appears some coupons to their amazing store. So yeah, let's check that out. And those guys are awesome. But before we get into this, I know we like to start every episode talking about what are we nerding out about this week. And Taylor, what are you nerding out about this week?
Nerding about this week, I finally finished Adventure Mode on Smash Brothers, and
Nice.
It was frustratingly long, but yeah.
And for me, we've talked about this a gazillion times. Taylor, someone yesterday said if it was Christmas, he's Krampus and I'm Santa. I like musicals. Taylor does not like musicals. And for the first time ever, they put the Back to the Future, the musical, entire soundtrack on Spotify, and I listened to the whole thing, and I could not stop smiling the whole time. Also, though, thinking about how as happy and as much joy as it was bringing me, that if Taylor were with me listening to it, it would be doing literally the exact opposite. So, yeah, that's what I've been nerding out about this week. Somehow in my life, I need to get out there. I need to see it on Broadway, or it needs to come to Kansas City. So, yeah, Back to the Future, the musical. Loving it. And for anyone listening right now, you guys always know there's spoilers might come up in this episode about things going on out there. We're going to be talking about a little bit of the news, a little bit of rumors, and anyone who happens to be here later in the show will ask some questions and you might win a prize. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So our last typical episode, we talked about the finale of Secret Invasion. So let's get into some more Marvel news besides that. Did you have a chance to see that Loki Season 2 trailer in the past few days?
It looks like the first season. I thought it was really cool that they had the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
In it, in that first part of the trailer. That was cool. And then, what else was... Oh, and then to see Kang is there was interesting. I know that most of his parts were shot before all the craziness, so he is still the villain in this, if I'm...
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah. And if you... Side note, out in the real world, it looks like things are going good for him right now. There's some issues legally with the woman making the accusations, and she's actually fled the country, it looks like, is what the news said. So, craziness. But yeah, speaking of Ke Kwan, short round from Indiana Jones, that scene in the trailer where they were trying to tell him, such and such about this happening, this is bad, and he's like, yeah, that is bad, and they're like, well, it is happening, and he's like, oh, it's happening, and he just acts so dumbfounded, and I can't wait to see him in it. Other big news with Marvel right now is all the stuff going on with Fantastic Four, and with all the writer's strike stuff going on, things being pushed back, and this isn't even a movie that kind of has a date right now, so it's probably going to be pushed way back, but despite all of that, they're still talking about all kinds of news about this movie, and people are kind of going nuts over who's going to be Sue Storm, who's going to be Reed Richards, who's going to be all the cast. I think the craziest one we heard was Mila Kunis being Bid Graham.
Yeah, but she said that she isn't, but she 100%. Knows 100% who is Ben Graham.
Okay. But that has to be the craziest rumor, at least I think. Mila Kunis as Ben Grimm. But some of the stuff coming out right now is showing that Adam Driver did not want to be a part of it based on the script, but there's been some script revisions, and they're sending it back out to him, and there's no answer, but they're still pursuing him.
Yeah.
But as well as they've made an offer to Matt Smith from Doctor Who, and they've made an offer to Dev Patel, the kid from Slumdog Millionaire.
Yep.
And they've made an offer to, it sounds like, Joseph Quinn, Eddie from Stranger Things, to be Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
And then a woman named Vanessa Kirby, who, forgive me for not knowing her accolades, but that's who they've made an offer for Sue Storm.
Yeah, she looks the part.
Definitely looks the part. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there right now dealing with this. And the other thing was the actor Eben Moss Backrack, who he was in Andor. He was one of the people in Andor.
Okay.
It sounds like they've made an offer for him to be the Herald of Galactus, but they're kind of doubling down that they don't mean the Silver Surfer.
So like Airwalker or Nova or Terrax.
I think Terrax was the name I read.
Okay. That would be interesting. I like that character. First time I ever read anything with Terrax, and it was like a New Warriors comic. It was like New Warriors and the Fantastic Four versus Terrax. If you ever get a chance to read that, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So the actor Thomas Hayden Church, who was Sandman in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He was in an interview, and they asked him about, straight up, Spider-Man 4, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi, is this happening? And he basically said there are talks happening right now as we speak. And that's about all the facts he gave. But I would be 100% down for an older Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, possibly. As long as it's done not like, oh, this is just Logan, but it's Spider-Man.
Right.
I don't need the same movie with a different face paint on it.
Yep.
You know, the only criticism I had about the Joker was that it's just the movie Taxi Driver with a DC painted, mask on it. But that was my only criticism. Otherwise, I love the movie.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I don't want to see this get like done to death. And then later we're like, oh, that was so awful.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm being optimistic about it. But it's also coming off the legs of Spider-Man 3, which is a horrible movie.
Right.
So it's, Sam Raimi always hits it out of the park with horror stuff. I thought the Doctor Strange movie was good, but that was also in that realm. So I think if it has that more horror-y slant to it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it'd be cool to do kind of like a Peter B. Parker from the Spider-Verse movies, but maybe not so I'm sad, but but the comic relief, but not comic relief, just the lightheartedness of it.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're right though, Sam Raimi's very good at the horror stuff, so I could see it being a slightly more mature, slightly darker thing.
That's what I see when he does well. I feel like that's it right there.
Yeah, apparently that's a possible thing, and I'm down for it. And then, speaking of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that everyone absolutely loved, is coming to digital platforms. It looks like on Tuesday, August 8th, you can purchase it digitally, and then on Blu-ray, September the 5th. So very soon you can watch it in your own home.
Yeah,
and
that's so exciting. Are they doing Netflix, or is it Marvel Disney Plus?
I'm not sure, and it's confusing because, being Sony, it's not on Disney Plus, but very recently they put all the Spider-Man stuff on Disney Plus, so
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what they put it on. One little bit of a bummer is with all the strike stuff happening, a handful of Marvel things have been pushed back, but the Spider-Verse final part of the trilogy has been pushed way back. It's not going to be coming out in March like we thought, less than a year later.
Yeah.
It's possibly going to be a year and a half, even possibly more later, which kind of sucks, but it's either way.
It's like pandemic all over again.
I know. Hopefully these big wig CEOs get their act together and start paying these people so they can get back to work.
Yeah.
That's really about it over on Marvel. When we talk about DC stuff, there's been a couple cool things. It looks like as James Gunn and Peter Safran have come in and changed the game for DC, everything's being rebooted. We know that, but it sounds like Gal Gadot might not be finished playing Wonder Woman. Did you see her come out in this interview and say that basically she's developing Wonder Woman 3? It'll be her third movie, but it'll still sort of be a soft reboot, and she's still going to be working as Wonder Woman.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. I mean, they cleared the slate with everyone else. Unless she just has a contract for 3 movies.
Maybe that could be it. I don't know. And it's funny if you go back to some early tweets of James Gunn when they talk about getting rid of Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. He even replied to someone, I never said Wonder Woman. And this was months and months and months ago.
Oh, okay.
So whatever that means, maybe she's got one more movie. Maybe she's still the new universe's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Same with Aquaman. We've got that movie coming out soon, but I wonder if that's a standalone thing or if he just really likes Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
I don't know, but there was a rumor that he wanted Jason Momoa as Lobo, though. So we'll see.
Yeah. he 100% looks the part.
Yeah.
And let's see. We've talked on this show before about how awesome DC is with animated movies.
Yes.
And James Gunn came out to say that there will be some theatrically released DCU animated movies that do fit into his new continuity. They're not just their own thing.
Yeah, he says there's going to be a lot more things tying together than there is not.
Yep. So that's kind of cool. It'll be nice to see those animated things that they're not really hit or miss. They're more hit than miss.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool to see them tie into everything.
Yep.
Over with Star Wars, one of the things recently was Timothy Olyphant, who played Cobb Vanth on the Boba Fett show. He was in an interview, and people were asking him, are we going to see Cobb Vanth again? And if you remember at the finale of the Book of Boba Fett, he was in one of those Bacta-tanks covered in cybernetics.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like he very vaguely said he's probably going to be showing up again in the upcoming Dave Filoni Star Wars movie. But he was very vague about it, gave no details, but we really like that actor, and I like that character, so it'd be cool to see him back. And I wonder what they do with him. If you remember those modified Power Ranger-looking characters, the people kept calling them Power Rangers because of the colorful bikes, maybe he went to those same modifiers.
Yeah, maybe.
This is a total side note, but any fans of Justified, my wife and I have been watching the Justified City Primeval, and it has been awesome seeing Raylan Givens come back and giving some bad guys what for.
Awesome.
There is a bit of speculation about The Mandalorian Season 4. It kind of sounds like as Disney and Marvel are staying away from potentially doing a ton of stuff, they might be slowly fading away from their series and airing more towards, let's make this a movie. So Season 4 might come out as a movie with a few parts, and people are kind of torn about that because movies can be very good, but also it means you're going to get less hours of it.
Yeah.
But we'll just see what that means if that comes to fruition. And then as we've also been talking very excitedly about the upcoming Ahsoka series, you guys all know I'm excited about that. Some merchandise has come out, some toys. There's been Legos and other toys that have included Anakin. So that is leading people to think you might be seeing Anakin Skywalker show up in this series, which makes sense, especially with Hayden Christensen coming back into the limelight, people giving him his accolades that he's deserved.
Yeah.
It would make sense to see him again. And then kind of the random stuff going on out there. My family and I last week had a chance to go watch the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, and I cannot recommend this movie enough to anyone. It's so fun. It's so funny. The fact that they have kids being the Turtles. They have actual teenage boys playing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was amazing. It was family friendly. The jokes were hilarious. It paid homage to the classic stuff and a bunch of Easter eggs to things that have come since as well. But without getting too spoilery, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we've mentioned before also how I'm not a big, Rotten Tomatoes, this and that, but they've given it a 97 just to give you an idea of what people are thinking about it. Yeah, and again, keeping it spoiler free, but I will give you some info. There is a mid-credit scene, but not a post-credit scene. So when you stick around in the credits, wait for the middle, but you don't have to stick around to the end because there's nothing. And then I think we've talked a little bit about Invincible Season 2 is coming out pretty soon on Prime, November 3rd.
Yeah, they have the Adam Eve thing we got to watch and talk about still.
Yeah, it's a quick watch, maybe an hour, I think. But yeah, we'll catch that out and talk to you guys soon. But yeah, that's about all the news this week. And in fact, our local news, we are at Fountain City Con. So
yeah,
we're here, it's happening. And by the time you listen to this, it'll have already happened. And man, we had the chance the other night to go sit with the guys that produced the Batman the Animated Series movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and the other guy in attendance that wrote episode 1 and several other episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Mm-hmm. That was really cool. And I know in your past, when you were a kid, you got to see it on the big screen.
On the big screen, one of the 2 weeks it was out, I guess. On like a it was like a matinee showing because they only showed it because it was PG, so they didn't show it past 6 o'clock probably.
Yeah, I never got to watch it, but I do have very vivid memories of the the plastic VHS in the big box, pulling the tape out and wearing it out basically.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool to watch that movie on the big screen, and I know how much you love the kaiju type stuff. So,
yeah.
And how much you love that scene towards the end where that World of Tomorrow.
And Batman and Joker just slugging it out.
Yeah, they could basically look like Godzilla and King Kong out there fighting in this miniature city.
Yeah, but they did tell us one thing, which was it's rated at a PG-13 now, but if it would have came out today, it would have been rated R because of how many cigarettes are used in it.
Yes.
Not because of the blood, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, not the punches, the violence, the guns, the blood. Nope, there was 2 cigarettes, so it would be rated R now.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a very cool experience, and put that up there on top 10 cool moments in a movie theater.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we have a little bit of a crowd, and I mentioned at the beginning, if anyone asks us a question that has anything to do with anything pop culture, we have a book you guys can come grab. Does anyone have a question? Oh, question from this person right here.
Was Catwoman in the Batman movie?
The newest Batman movie? Oh, the Batman the Animated Series one. This one, so the classic villains, the Joker was the only one, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it was this villain, the Phantasm. So yeah, no Catwoman, yes Joker. And one cool thing about it was basically seeing that animated version of the Joker's origin was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Batman movie that's not Mask of the Phantasm?
Favorite Batman that is not Mask of the Phantasm?
Oh, I think I have mine.
I'm trying to think.
Mine's Year One. Like if as the cartoon, the Year One cartoon, I really like that cartoon. I don't know whether it's the pacing of it's really good. I like to see anything from the view of Gordon. I think that's why I like that Gotham PD book that came out forever ago. Also, like him taking a baseball bat to one of the other police members was just awesome. And you know, for once they mentioned him being a Green Beret and all this stuff. It's like I like that. I like Selena in that as well. That suit's ridiculous, but I love it. I think that, yeah, when it comes to cartoons, that would be my favorite cartoon. Now, if we're talking live action, that's a whole nother ball game completely.
I don't know if it's the movie per se, and I'll stay away from Batman the Animated Series because that's not only my favorite, that's my favorite Batman. It's Kevin Conroy Batman. So if I stay away from that altogether, I don't know if it counts as a movie, but the Batman Brave and the Bold series, there's just something about
That
the
doesn't
Hammers
count.
of Justice.
It has to be.
It has to be a movie?
It has to be a movie.
Okay,
That was the
man.
question. And if you want to do it, you can narrow it down to animated since it's what I went with.
That's what I'm thinking. If it was just animated, because I've seen all of those.
Yeah. And but it's one of them that's just the Batman one.
Okay, so you can't include
So
Justice
it's not a
Leagues and-
Justice League movie or the Batman Supermans either, because I took those out.
Took those out.
Because those are like two titles,
Right.
right? So he's sharing the title. So it's not, I mean, every Batman, when he's in it, it's a Batman story. It's like a Superman. But, yeah.
Since you did cartoon, you do live action.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Do
okay.
that.
Because, yeah, I'm having a hard time because I really like all of those. So for live action, favorite Batman, I'm probably going to go with the 89 Michael Keaton Batman, but it has a lot to do with nostalgia for me because I've mentioned before, home was a little crazy growing up, but I like one of my favorite memories was my dad taking me to that. And that was the first movie I ever saw in a theater. It was just a cool
Yeah.
pause from the crazy. Like, and it just like it stands out.
Yeah.
And then seeing that same Batman, Keaton, come back for Batman Returns, it was me and my dad, and then my best friend and his dad. Again, I remember that. We didn't get Happy Meals, but we got just a cheeseburger from McDonald's. We didn't get all the frills. We were kind of whatever. Money was tight, but I literally remember picking up the food, eating it, going to Batman with my best friend and my dad. So for pure nostalgia reasons, I think the 89 Keaton Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was thinking live action after you said it. I'm really disappointed that Batfleck, a movie with just him, didn't happen after seeing the one scene of him crashing through the warehouse or whatever. That's probably my favorite Batman scene in any movie, like fighting scene, full stop. But I'm not counting it because it's a Batman Superman.
Right.
So
Can't do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that at all. So if I want like one of the live action ones that I enjoy watching the most is Batman Forever. I think Jim Carrey's hysterical in it. It's the most zany thing in the whole world, and it's very much like my generation's version of like Adam West Batman.
Right.
Like it is. It's awesome. Now that Adam West Batman is my second favorite, but just because of shark repellent spray.
And there was a movie.
Yeah, the movie with the bomb and he's
And
running
yep.
around. Yep, on the buoy.
Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah, I know.
That's so funny. Well, cool. Anyone else have a question or another question out there?
Yeah,
Question right here.
In the Batman and Superman movie, why do they make a painting of Batman and Superman look on?
Public Enemies at
Yep.
the end, what they do. So that's actually a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not the best idea in the world, but there's actually, in the comics, a giant composite Batman Superman suit that they did for the Public Enemies storyline, but I think they used it before that in the comics at some point, but they didn't call it that. But yeah, it's
In the cartoon, it's a tech whiz kid,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah, it's
basically a,
Toyman.
a ship, like basically a spaceship, and they need to go out into space in the cartoon, right?
yeah.
It's just that's just how he made it look.
It looked like a Zord instead of
Yeah,
like a
like a Megazord kind of a thing.
like a suit.
Yeah,
But yeah.
cool. Well, unless there are any other questions, that's our show. That's about it today. Just talking about what was new this week and some of the stuff we've had fun with. You guys, as you're listening to this episode on our podcast, stay tuned for some really cool interview stuff we'll be releasing as well the next couple weeks. But as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And thanks for coming, and come back same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.